Like the Bills, what did they do in undrafted free agency? Where'd they go? Wide receivers and corners, right? Because
even drafted corners.
Yeah.
And it's funny. They drafted corners that were 5'11", 6'1",
yeah,
200 pounds.
Amazing. Gee, that sounds so familiar.
Get used to this. Tampa 2.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Now, my question is, do you put Tremaine Edmunds in the middle of a Tampa 2?
Yes.
See, I have reservations about that.
Oh, I do as well. 19-year-old quarterback over there. Well, he's 20 now. He just had his birthday. Can we just talk about how illegal it is that the man's 6'5", 250 can move that fast?
I know.
Anyway, you put him in the middle. I like him in the middle there because what is the one thing that a guy in the middle of a Tampa 2 has to do? You have to get sideline to sideline, in which he does well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's never really had an issue with getting guys off of him or getting sticky. So he's one of those guys that, okay, if the D lineman or if one guy happens to leak out, he can get by him. It's not a big deal. He could take on the run. I like the idea of putting 6 defensive backs behind him in that line.
That's what's happening.
I know.
Right?
I love it. I absolutely love it. They already knew they were going to do this anyway by signing. Their first signing of the offseason was Bush at safety. And you're like, we have Hyde and Boyer. Why are you signing Bush? Then they get 2 more corners in free agency. Now you draft 2 more corners. Like, this is what you're doing. You're completely getting rid of, or for the most part, you're getting rid of the outside linebackers that you have. And you're putting Edmunds in the middle, the 4 in front of him, and 6 defensive backs. It's a passing league. Let's do it. We need guys that can hit, though. Our corners all have to be able to be good tacklers. Okay.
Well,
I'm fine with that.
And
what's your reservation, though?
My reservation about Edmunds in the middle is that in a Tampa 2 style system, it's going to be a one-man show for him in the middle, and his eyes lead him the wrong way sometimes. So he doesn't have a great vision from a play development standpoint, and he's a freak athlete. So of course he's going to stand out in college, right? Mm-hmm. But in the NFL, teams will know that they could get him moving the wrong direction, right? Now he's got the speed to be able to get there. Even if he starts going the wrong direction, a lot of times he's got the speed to be able to recover.
Sounds familiar.
He's certainly strong enough.
With the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I know, right? But the fact of the matter is, Edmunds in the middle, I would much prefer if he were playing an outside linebacker spot where he's got one split responsibility. He's responsible here. Give him a lane and let him learn and be responsible for that. That's what I would be comfortable with. But if they're switching to a Tampa 2, I don't really know if that's going to be much of an option outside of first down. Right? I mean, that's...
you got a guy in there, though, like you said, he's a freak athlete. A lot of the plays that he made in college were because of his athleticism. There's a learning curve of anybody, of anything. If they didn't think the kid could do it, they would have never traded up for him.
Right.
Giving away, like, 2 more players. Mm-hmm. The guy's got some very special talents. If you put him on the edge, he's a guy that could be very scary and be a legit Pro Bowl, All-Pro player his first year. But if you put him in the middle, like I said, his eyes tend to deceive him. Well, he's got veterans all around him. They're going to help him out anyway.
Right, but I get that. I get that.
Yeah. I know. I can understand some of your fears of him in the middle. I didn't like him in the middle initially. I would have liked to have Roquan Smith in there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he was gone by that point. But went to the Bears.
What the hell?
Don't even know. They run a 3-4.
Why? Yeah, I don't get Smith in a 3-4.
Roquan is a Vilma clone. Why would you put him in a 3-4? Like, I don't understand.
Get it. I think that's one of the reasons that they had to jump up for Edmunds as well, where they did, because they had to beat out a bunch of 3-4 teams, because Edmunds would be an absolute animal on 3-4.
Oh my God, he would have.
Animal at 3-4.
He would. Which, yeah, that's one of those things where, you know, if it wasn't the Bills, we'd be hammering that. The fact that Edmunds would be going to the middle as a middle linebacker. But because it's the Bills, we're trying to find some hope in the fact that, all right, he's got all the physical tools. Will the head go with the game? Which is why, you know, that's a lot of the concerns on the offensive side of the ball.
Right. Well, I think it's important to just break the illusion that this is Sean McDermott's defense. Right? Because if this draft doesn't tell you that it's not Sean McDermott's defense, is it still his team? Yeah, of course it is. Is he still have the yes or no on a lot of these decisions? Without a doubt. Like that's you know, clearly still the answer. However, Leslie Frazier is running that show on defense.
Absolutely.
Right? And it was smart of McDermott to go out and get somebody who was a veteran, right, with Leslie Frazier's experience, where he could just say, here you go. I got a lot of other stuff to do. Right?
Yeah.
If Frazier walks next year and gets another head coaching job with the Bills, put up another top 5 defense, maybe he gets talked about as a head coach candidate.
He should.
Yeah. Then McDermott can bring in whoever he wants at that point, and then take responsibility of the defense back over. But for this year, it's Leslie Frazier's defense.
And you know what? Because the NFL becoming such a passing league and the things going on, Tampa 2 is almost becoming more universally accepted by more teams.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, they're running the 46. There's only like 6 guys that know how to run the 46.
Right.
So a lot of people know how to run a Tampa 2, so he'd be able to fill that role. And it's not like McDermott has never ran that role. You know what I mean? I just don't want people to get the misconception that Edmunds is going to be Kuechly.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's why he was drafted in that spot.
Well,
they're kind of different.
Well, yeah, and again, that the reason that people say Edmunds is going to be Kuechly is because they believe it's Sean McDermott's defense for Carolina, and this isn't going to be that.
I would even though they don't really have they don't have a lot of comparables as far as physically. Go watch old film of Derek Brooks.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was an undersized linebacker when they started doing all the Tampa 2 stuff. He was in the middle directing traffic and going sideline to sideline.
God, he was good. Man, he was good. That's a jersey you could wear anywhere as a Derek Brooks jersey.
Yeah. The orange or the pewter?
Never the orange. You don't want to be confused with a Gators fan.
Yeah, but you think about that defense. You think about the Tampa 2, the original. You had Sapp, Brooks, and Lynch.
Yep.
All down the middle of the field.
That's it.
So could Starr, Edmunds, and whether Hyde or Poyer be the cornerstones of that defense?
That's the idea. I think that's the idea.
It's beautiful.
That's what you look for.
I love it.
Now, can the pass rush with 6 defensive backs, can the pass rush get there to make that Tampa 2 effective?
They give you time. 6 defensive backs give you time without blitzing.
Right.
So Hughes will be asked to go around the corner.
It's like a NASCAR driver. He only knows how to turn left. That's it. You just get him on the outside.
He'll hit the wall. But you got Kyle and Phillips, as well as Washington as
Phillips
on rotation.
That was a good pick.
Anytime you got a 3-time state champion in wrestling as a defensive tackle, he's gonna know leverage. I mean, he'll know where to go. And then the other side, who's the guy they picked up from Washington, the defensive end or outside linebacker or whatever?
Yeah, that's what kind of is getting me about the switch to the Tampa 2, because they signed a bunch of guys that I guess would be perimeter pressure guys. Well, no, I guess it makes sense now.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes sense now.
You want guys that are fresh and rotate in. I think that's what it is. Because long gone are the days of Simeon Rice playing 90% of the plays on the Tampa 2. So you're just going to have guys like that. That's a comparison even if you want to do with that. Compare Simeon Rice to Jerry Hughes and let me know what you find.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't wait to do that now. It's going to be fun. I'm going to put all their stats right here.
Simeon Rice was a freak.
Oh, he was.
He was a freak. It'll be interesting to see how this all goes, because it's going to be a different feel, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a very different feel this year. And a lot of fans are going to miss the subtleties of the changes, right? Because they're not, the Bills have said nothing about this. They've not said a word. They haven't said boo about this, and nor should they, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at who they brought in, if you look at who they drafted, if you look at who they've signed, this move makes the most sense. It's got to be what they're doing, right? This is one of those circumstances where we don't have it verified, but this has to be what they're doing.
I would not be surprised, and obviously, it's always easier to build up your defense first, and then you always have that to rely on if your quarterback or your offense is having some struggles.
Yep,
that's always the way it's been. You're going to have a lot more, I'd say, 17-10 games than you will 42-35 games.
Right.
Even though Goodell wants the latter.
Sure.
That's what you're going to have. So it's always good to build up that defense first, which he did. I mean, these guys, in 2 years, look what they've done to this defensive part of the team.
Yeah, totally tore it down.
It's awesome.